Helena Blavatsky, the renowned 19th century mystic and founder of the Theosophical Society, spent years studying with Tibetan masters and exploring ancient wisdom traditions. Through her extensive research and direct mystical experiences, she uncovered profound truths about the nature of emotional blockages that modern psychology is only beginning to understand. According to Blavatsky's teachings, emotional blockages are not merely psychological phenomena, but actual energetic crystallizations within our subtle bodies. In The Secret Doctrine, she explains that unexpressed or suppressed emotions create what she termed astral shells, dense formations of psychic matter that attach themselves to our auric field and influence our thoughts, behaviors, and life experiences. These emotional blockages operate like invisible prisons, limiting our ability to experience joy, love, and spiritual growth. Blavatsky discovered that most people carry dozens of these energetic formations, accumulated over years of unprocessed experiences, traumas, and societal conditioning. The ancient masters taught her that these blockages are not permanent fixtures, but temporary accumulations that can be dissolved through specific techniques. Unlike modern therapeutic approaches that may take months or years, the esoteric methods Blavatsky learned work directly with the subtle energy systems, allowing for rapid transformation. What makes these teachings particularly powerful is their recognition that emotional blockages exist on multiple planes simultaneously: the physical, astral, and mental bodies. This multidimensional approach explains why traditional methods often provide only temporary relief, while the ancient techniques create lasting change by addressing the root cause at its energetic source. Understanding this foundational principle is crucial because it shifts our perspective from seeing emotions as chaotic, uncontrollable forces to recognizing them as structured energy patterns that follow specific laws and can be consciously directed and transformed. Chapter 2. The 7 Astral Knots That Bind Your Soul. In her correspondence with advanced students, Blavatsky revealed the existence of 7 primary emotional blockage points that she called astral knots. These correspond to what modern energy workers recognize as chakra blockages, but her understanding went far deeper into their psychological and karmic origins. The first knot, located at the base of the spine, holds our deepest survival fears and ancestral traumas. Blavatsky taught that this knot often contains memories from past incarnations where we experienced death, abandonment, or extreme poverty. The second knot, in the sacral region, binds our creative and sexual energies with shame, guilt, and societal programming about pleasure and desire. The third knot, at the solar plexus, traps our personal power beneath layers of self-doubt, victimhood, and learned helplessness. This is where most people store their anger and resentment. The fourth knot, at the heart center, holds our deepest wounds around love, betrayal, and emotional rejection. Blavatsky noted that this knot often forms protective barriers that prevent us from giving or receiving authentic love. The fifth knot restricts our throat chakra, silencing our authentic voice and truth. This forms when we've been punished for speaking up or expressing our genuine feelings. The sixth knot, between the eyebrows, clouds our inner vision with illusions, mental conditioning, and limiting beliefs about reality. The seventh and most subtle knot sits at the crown, separating us from our divine nature and higher guidance. This knot forms through religious programming, spiritual trauma, or overwhelming life experiences that cause us to lose faith in a benevolent universe. Blavatsky emphasized that these knots don't exist independently, but form an interconnected web of limitation. When we begin working with one knot, the others often respond sympathetically. Her method involves a systematic approach to unraveling these bindings through specific visualizations, breathwork, and invocations. Chapter 3. Blavatsky's 3-body clearing technique. One of Blavatsky's most powerful contributions to emotional healing was her 3-body clearing technique, which she learned during her time in Tibet. This method recognizes that emotional blockages manifest simultaneously across our physical, astral, and mental bodies, requiring coordinated intervention on all 3 levels. The technique begins with physical preparation. Blavatsky instructed students to sit in a comfortable position with the spine straight, allowing the subtle energies to flow freely. She emphasized the importance of hand positions, recommending the right hand on the heart and left hand on the solar plexus to create a circuit of energy flow. For the physical body clearing, practitioners breathe deeply, while mentally scanning for areas of tension, pain, or numbness. These physical sensations often correspond directly to emotional blockages. Blavatsky taught a specific breathing pattern. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6, creating a rhythm that naturally relaxes the nervous system and opens the energy channels. The astral body clearing involves visualization techniques drawn from Tibetan Buddhism. Practitioners imagine a sphere of golden light in their heart center, gradually expanding to encompass their entire emotional field. As this light touches areas of emotional pain or restriction, they visualize the blockages dissolving like ice melting in warm sunlight. The mental body clearing addresses the thought patterns and beliefs that sustain emotional blockages. Blavatsky taught students to identify the core belief underlying each emotion, such as "I am not worthy of love" or "the world is dangerous," and then consciously replace these with affirmations aligned with spiritual truth. The genius of this method lies in its simultaneous approach. By working with all 3 bodies together, practitioners avoid the common problem of clearing an emotional blockage on one level only to have it resurface from another. The technique typically takes 15-20 minutes and can produce profound shifts in a single session. Chapter 4. The Tibetan Master's Breathing Method for Instant Release. During her 7 years in Tibet, Blavatsky learned a revolutionary breathing technique from Master Kuthumi that could instantly release even deeply embedded emotional blockages. This method, which she called the breath of dissolution, works by consciously directing prana, life force energy, to crystallized emotional patterns and dissolving them back into their original pure energy state. The technique begins with what Blavatsky termed preparatory breathing, 3 deep breaths where you inhale universal life force and exhale all tension and resistance. This creates a receptive state and signals to your subtle bodies that transformation is about to begin. The core practice involves a specific rhythm. Breathe in for 7 counts while focusing on the emotional blockage. Hold the breath for 3 counts while mentally commanding the blockage to dissolve. Then exhale for 10 counts while visualizing the released energy being transmuted into pure light and wisdom. What makes this technique particularly powerful is the mental focus during each phase. On the inhale, you're not just breathing air, but consciously drawing in the transformative power of the universe. During the retention, you're creating a moment of stillness where the old pattern can be released. On the exhale, you're actively participating in the alchemical process of transmutation. Blavatsky emphasized that the breath itself is not the healing agent, but rather the vehicle for consciousness to direct energy. She taught that our focused intention, combined with the natural intelligence of prana, creates the actual transformation. The breathing pattern simply provides a framework for this conscious direction of energy. The Tibetan masters warned that this technique should only be used when you're ready to permanently release the blockage, as the process is irreversible. They also taught that each released blockage creates space for higher wisdom and spiritual gifts to emerge, making this practice not just healing but genuinely evolutionary. Chapter 5. Transmuting Emotional Lead into Spiritual Gold. Blavatsky's understanding of emotional alchemy drew heavily from Hermetic traditions and her study of ancient Egyptian mystery schools. She taught that negative emotions are not inherently bad, but are simply spiritual energies in their crude, unrefined state. Much like lead contains the potential to become gold through alchemical processes. The foundation of emotional alchemy lies in recognizing that every painful emotion contains a hidden gift or wisdom. Fear, when transmuted, becomes intuitive discernment. Anger transforms into spiritual strength and righteous action. Sadness alchemizes into compassion and emotional depth. Shame becomes humility and genuine spiritual growth. Blavatsky's transmutation process involves 3 distinct phases, which she called the sacred triangle of transformation. The first phase is recognition, becoming consciously aware of the emotion without judgment or resistance. Most people either suppress emotions or become overwhelmed by them, but the alchemical approach requires a neutral, observational stance. The second phase is invocation, calling upon your higher self or divine nature to participate in the transformation. Blavatsky taught specific invocations for different emotions, but the essential element is genuinely requesting help from the wisdom aspect of your being, rather than trying to force change through willpower alone. The third phase is integration, consciously receiving and anchoring the transformed energy. This involves visualization techniques, where you see the crude emotional energy being refined in the fires of spiritual understanding, emerging as pure wisdom and strength. Blavatsky emphasized that this process requires patience and practice. The alchemical transformation doesn't happen instantly, but unfolds over time as we consistently apply these principles. She warned against trying to rush the process, noting that premature forcing often creates spiritual bypassing rather than genuine transformation. The ultimate goal is not to eliminate all challenging emotions, but to develop the skill of conscious transmutation, turning every life experience into spiritual gold. Chapter 6. The Sacred Geometry of Emotional Healing. Blavatsky's advanced teachings revealed that emotional blockages follow specific geometric patterns within our energy field, and healing occurs most effectively when we work with these natural formations rather than against them. Her studies of ancient Egyptian and Greek mystery schools showed her that sacred geometry provides a precise map for emotional transformation. The most fundamental pattern she identified is the spiral, which governs how emotional energy moves through our system. Blockages occur when this natural spiral motion becomes reversed or stagnant. The healing process involves consciously restoring the correct geometric flow through visualization and directed intention. Blavatsky taught students to visualize their emotional field as a three-dimensional mandala with specific geometric shapes representing different types of blockages. Triangular formations typically hold anger and conflict. Squares contain fear and resistance, while circular patterns store sadness and grief. Understanding these shapes allows for targeted healing approaches. Her most powerful technique involved the geometric dissolution process. Practitioners first identify the shape of their blockage through meditation and inner sensing. They then visualize this shape being surrounded by its geometric opposite. Triangles are embraced by circles, squares by spirals, rigid lines by flowing curves. This creates a natural resolution as the opposing geometries harmonize and neutralize each other. The technique becomes more sophisticated as practitioners learn to work with complex polyhedra. Blavatsky discovered that traumatic memories often crystallize into dodecahedron patterns, while limiting beliefs form icosahedral structures. By consciously reshaping these formations into their healing counterparts, profound transformation occurs rapidly. She emphasized that this approach works because our subtle bodies are naturally organized according to geometric principles. When we align our healing efforts with these underlying patterns, we work with the inherent intelligence of our energy system rather than fighting against it. The geometric approach also ensures that healing occurs at the structural level, preventing blockages from simply reforming in new locations. Chapter 7. Invoking the Higher Self for Permanent Transformation. Perhaps Blavatsky's most profound insight was recognizing that permanent emotional healing requires partnership with what she called the higher ego, or divine aspect of human nature. Unlike temporary relief methods that work only with the personality level, invoking the higher self creates transformation that persists across lifetimes and karmic cycles. Blavatsky taught that the higher self exists beyond the realm of emotional turbulence, maintaining perfect equilibrium and wisdom regardless of outer circumstances. This divine aspect of ourselves contains the blueprint for our perfect emotional state, and knows exactly how to restore harmony when blockages occur. The invocation process begins with creating sacred space through specific rituals Blavatsky learned from her Tibetan teachers. This involves lighting a white candle, burning frankincense, and reciting the ancient prayer. May the light of the eternal self illuminate the shadows within and restore divine order to all aspects of my being. The central practice involves shifting your identity from the wounded personality to the divine observer. Blavatsky taught students to mentally step back from their emotional drama and ask, What would my higher self do in this situation? How would divine love respond to this blockage? This creates an immediate elevation in consciousness that naturally dissolves lower vibrational patterns. The most advanced technique involves what she called divine assumption, temporarily taking on the consciousness of your higher self and viewing the blockage from this elevated perspective. From this vantage point, emotional wounds appear as temporary illusions that can be dissolved through compassionate understanding and forgiveness. Blavatsky emphasized that this is not spiritual bypassing or denial, but genuine transformation through identification with our true nature. She taught that every human being has constant access to this divine wisdom, but must consciously choose to invoke it. Regular practice of higher self-invocation gradually shifts our default identity from wounded personality to empowered spiritual being. Chapter 8. The Ancient Mantras that Shatter Energy Blocks. During her initiation into the ancient mystery schools, Blavatsky learned that specific sound vibrations could instantly shatter even the most stubborn emotional blockages. These sacred mantras work by creating resonant frequencies that break up crystallized emotional patterns, much like how an opera singer's voice can shatter a crystal glass. The most fundamental mantra she taught was Ayum Mani Padme Hum, which she learned from Tibetan lamas. However, her deeper understanding revealed that each syllable targets specific types of blockages. Aum dissolves mental patterns and limiting beliefs. Mani transforms emotional attachments and desires. Padme opens the heart to divine love, and Hum grounds the transformation into physical reality. For fear-based blockages, Blavatsky prescribed the Sanskrit mantra Ram, chanted 108 times while visualizing golden fire in the solar plexus. This ancient sound frequency specifically resonates with courage and personal power, naturally dissolving patterns of anxiety and self-doubt. Anger and resentment respond to the mantra Soham, meaning I am that in Sanskrit. Blavatsky taught that anger arises from forgetting our divine nature and feeling separate from others. This mantra reminds us of our fundamental unity with all life, making it impossible to maintain hostile feelings. For grief and sadness, she recommended Gate Para Sam Gate Bodhi Svaha, the Heart Sutra mantra that means gone, gone, gone beyond, gone completely beyond, awakening. This powerful invocation helps us release attachment to loss and recognize the eternal nature of consciousness. Blavatsky emphasized that mantras must be chanted with complete faith and understanding of their meaning. She taught that the Sanskrit language was specifically designed by ancient sages to carry transformational vibrations, making these sounds naturally healing to the human energy system. Regular mantra practice gradually attunes our subtle bodies to higher frequencies, making us naturally resistant to emotional blockages. Chapter 9. Working with elementals to clear astral debris. One of Blavatsky's most esoteric teachings involved working with elemental beings to clear what she termed astral debris, the psychic residue left behind by intense emotional experiences. Her studies revealed that emotional blockages often attract parasitic thought forms and negative elementals that feed on human suffering and perpetuate psychological patterns. Blavatsky taught that nature provides specific elemental helpers for emotional clearing. Fire elementals, or salamanders, specialize in burning away accumulated negativity and transforming dense emotions into pure energy. Water elementals, or undines, excel at washing away emotional residue and restoring natural flow to blocked areas. Air elementals, called sylphs, help clear mental confusion and limiting beliefs that sustain emotional patterns. Earth elementals, or gnomes, assist in grounding new positive patterns and stabilizing transformation so it becomes permanent. The practical technique involves creating an altar with representations of each element: a candle for fire, a bowl of water, incense for air, and a stone or crystal for earth. Blavatsky taught students to respectfully request assistance from each elemental kingdom, offering gratitude for their service to human evolution. During the clearing process, practitioners visualize fire elementals burning away the blockage, water elementals washing the area clean, air elementals bringing fresh life force, and earth elementals sealing the healing. This multi-elemental approach ensures complete clearing on all levels. Blavatsky warned that this work requires genuine respect for nature's intelligence and cannot be approached with a dominating attitude. The elementals respond to sincere requests for healing, but will withdraw their assistance if treated as mere tools rather than conscious allies. She also taught protection techniques to prevent negative entities from interfering with the clearing process. This includes surrounding oneself with white light, invoking divine protection, and working only when in a positive, centered state of consciousness. Chapter 10. The Hermetic Principle of Emotional Alchemy. Blavatsky's deep study of Hermetic philosophy revealed that emotional transformation follows the same universal laws that govern all manifestation. The principle, as above, so below, becomes a practical tool for healing when we understand that our inner emotional state creates our outer reality, and by changing one, we automatically influence the other. The Hermetic approach to emotional clearing involves recognizing that every blockage exists simultaneously on multiple planes of reality. A fear pattern, for example, manifests as tension in the physical body, anxiety in the emotional field, limiting beliefs in the mental body, and karmic patterns in the causal realm. True healing requires addressing all these levels simultaneously. Blavatsky taught the Hermetic cross technique, where practitioners visualize their emotional blockage at the center of a cross formation. The horizontal line represents the interplay between conscious and unconscious aspects of the pattern, while the vertical line connects the earthly manifestation with its divine archetype. The transformation process involves consciously bridging these polarities. Instead of fighting against negative emotions, we learn to hold both the shadow and light aspects in awareness until they naturally resolve into wholeness. This creates what Hermetic philosophers called the reconciliation of opposites. The most advanced practice involves working with the principle of correspondence, using macrocosmic symbols and planetary influences to transform microcosmic psychological patterns. Blavatsky created specific rituals for different types of blockages, timing them according to astrological influences that support the desired transformation. She emphasized that Hermetic alchemy is not mere positive thinking, but a precise science of consciousness transformation. The practitioner becomes a conscious participant in the natural laws of evolution, accelerating their spiritual development through understanding and cooperation with cosmic principles. This approach creates lasting change because it aligns personal healing with universal harmony. Chapter 11. Protecting yourself from future emotional contamination. After clearing emotional blockages, Blavatsky emphasized the critical importance of maintaining energetic protection to prevent recontamination. Her teachings revealed that most people unconsciously absorb emotional debris from their environment, other people, and even past life memories that surface during vulnerable moments. The foundation of emotional protection lies in understanding what Blavatsky called psychic hygiene. Just as we clean our physical bodies daily, our subtle energy fields require regular cleansing and maintenance. She taught students to begin each day with a protection ritual involving visualization of white light surrounding their entire aura. Blavatsky's most powerful protection technique involved creating what she termed psychic armor, a consciously constructed energy field that filters incoming influences while allowing positive energy to flow freely. This armor is built through daily practice of visualizing yourself surrounded by crystalline light that transmutes all negativity upon contact. For protection in challenging environments or around difficult people, she taught the mirror shield technique. Practitioners visualize their aura becoming like a perfect mirror that reflects all negative energy back to its source while simultaneously sending healing light. This prevents absorption of others' emotional problems while contributing to their healing. Blavatsky also emphasized the importance of conscious breathing as ongoing protection. She taught a simple technique of imagining that you inhale pure light and exhale any absorbed negativity. This continuous cleansing prevents emotional debris from accumulating and forming new blockages. Environmental factors play a crucial role in maintaining emotional clarity. Blavatsky recommended regular exposure to natural settings, especially moving water and sunlight, which naturally clear stagnant energy. She also taught the use of specific crystals, incense, and sacred geometry to maintain high vibrations in living spaces. The ultimate protection comes from maintaining alignment with your higher self through regular meditation and spiritual practice, creating a natural immunity to lower vibrational influences. Chapter 12. Integration and the Path to Emotional Mastery. The final stage of Blavatsky's emotional clearing system involves integrating all previous techniques into a comprehensive practice that leads to genuine emotional mastery. She taught that true mastery means not the absence of challenging emotions, but the ability to work with any emotional state as a tool for spiritual growth and service to others. Integration begins with what Blavatsky called emotional sovereignty, taking complete responsibility for your inner state regardless of external circumstances. This doesn't mean suppressing or controlling emotions, but rather developing the skill to consciously choose your response to any situation. The sovereign individual uses emotions as information and energy rather than being controlled by them. Daily practice becomes essential at this stage. Blavatsky recommended a morning routine that includes protection visualization, connection with the higher self, and setting intentions for conscious emotional responses throughout the day. Evening practice involves reviewing the day's emotional experiences, clearing any accumulated debris, and expressing gratitude for lessons learned. The advanced practitioner learns to see every emotional challenge as an opportunity for deeper mastery. Difficult situations become workshops for applying the techniques and testing one's level of development. Blavatsky taught that true masters actually welcome emotional challenges because they provide opportunities to demonstrate spiritual principles in action. Service to others naturally emerges as emotional mastery develops. Those who have learned to transmute their own emotional lead into spiritual gold become natural healers and teachers for others still struggling with emotional patterns. Blavatsky emphasized that this service is not forced, but flows naturally from a heart that has been purified and opened. The ultimate goal is what she called emotional transparency, a state where emotions flow through you without leaving any residue or creating disturbance to your essential peace. In this state, you become a clear channel for divine love and wisdom to flow into the world, fulfilling your highest purpose as a conscious spiritual being. Have you ever experienced an instant shift in your emotional state that seemed almost magical? What techniques have you found most effective for releasing stuck emotions in your own spiritual journey? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear how these ancient teachings resonate with your personal practice. And if this video has opened new doorways of understanding for you, please subscribe to join our community of spiritual seekers, exploring the hidden wisdom of the ages.